Welcome to Healthy Mind, Better Future, a podcast dedicated to mental wellness, family strength, and community healing for Africans in the diaspora. With me are Dr. Adeyemi Fatoki, Dr. Caroline Olaleye, Dr. Kenneth Soyemi, Mrs. Dorcas Fatoki, Mr. Funmi Onayemi, and Funmi Apantaku-Onayemi, your host. Today we'll discuss the beauty and complexity of the city of Chicago on this episode of Summertime and Violence in Chicago. The name Chicago brings up images of iconic architecture, stunning lakefront view, and rich culture. Tourists from all over the world come to walk the magnificent mile, take selfies at the Millennium Park, ride on boats on the Chicago River and Lake Michigan. Diverse neighborhoods showcase their cultures with street festivals and food vendors. The spirit of the people is alive in summertime fun and joyful festivities. But then, within the happy moments are sad realities of violence. Stay with us as we discuss and render tips on how to stay safe as you visit the beautiful city of Chicago in the summertime. Today in Chicago, it's a fun day. And so I want you to tell me, we'll be talking about summertime and violence in Chicago. But before we get to that, let us talk about Chicago and the beauty of Chicago. So we'll start with you, Mrs. Fatoki. What do you enjoy in the summer in Chicago?
The festivals, the water parks, the live music outside, the movies outside, everything, the beach, especially.
For me, summer in Chicago is the freedom, being able to go on the lakefront, ride my bike. Summer outdoor volleyball, sand volleyball. I play on the league, playing differently. Play on the beach, playing different leagues, and you've been cooped up all winter, and then that warm weather just makes you want to be outdoors all day. So that's what I like about it. A lot of barbecues, picnics, family get together. It's just being outside. Like I said, the bike rides are wonderful at all times of the day and night.
Yeah, Chicago is a beautiful city. I mean, I love it, especially when the kids are younger and we're always making forays onto the city to um, the water, the ferry wheels. Sometimes just walking the city of Chicago, the food, even the taste. I don't even know if they're still doing the taste of Chicago.
Yeah.
No, that was a fun one, but I haven't been at the taste in a few years. The kids are grown and I don't feel like it. I'd rather just cook my own corn in my yard now rather than go to the city to do it. But it was good. Navy Pier. It's good. It's a beautiful city. And also, even apart from downtown, people like the museums, the Museum of Science and Industry, the DuSable Museum, the aquarium. What do we call the aquarium again?
Shed aquarium.
Shed aquarium. Yes, I haven't been there in a few years either, but those used to be our staples of places we go. The zoo, Lincoln Park Zoo in Chicago. I mean, it's beautiful. You can never finish exploring Chicago.
The boat rides, the night cruises, I used to, when I was much younger, I used to like to go to all the jazz festivals. It's just so much. And you also remember that the Chicago metropolitan area has a lot of suburbs. So there's a lot of taste of Addison, taste of whatever suburbs you belong to. And I just enjoy walking outside in the park. And like today, this evening, we're going to a picnic. So it's just a lot of picnics, a lot of barbecues, a lot of getting together with people. So it's such a great city.
Chicago is just a fun city. Chicago is a world-class city. The architecture, like people said, the museums, Navy Pier, it's just a beautiful city.
I love going to the Nigerian Paris during the summer.
Yeah.
A lot of good food, meeting, interacting with people you haven't seen in a while. It's just like being back at home.
For me, though, first of all, I have to make a confession. That's when I find myself creeping back to get some workouts done. But besides that, I like to watch my husband doing so much yard work with flowers and stuff, and then I get to water them. But really, what I truly, truly love about Chicago, I love the July 4th celebration. I just think it's gorgeous. I mean, I've been to cities and I've been to, a lot of those fireworks, but I think Chicago fireworks on the lake, ooh, can you beat that? We can't. So it's beautiful all over.
The way you can know how people love their city is how long they've been here. I've been here 31 years. I came here in 1994.
I've been here almost 40 years.
I came in 1990 to Chicago, but I've been in Illinois since 1982, and I've really never left Illinois since 82. But I moved to Chicago in 1990.
So I've been in Chicagoland area for 36 years.
I've been in Chicagoland going to 50 years.
Senior citizens.
About 39 years.
Yeah, all your life, you want to say. Almost.
You see, people never leave. People come and never leave. Yeah.
Yes.
That's how great the city is, right? We love Chicago.
That's why we can't leave, even though a lot of people talk about how violent Chicago can be. Thank God we have not seen or we haven't been affected by Chicago violence. But it's true, though, that in the summer, people actually die because of Chicago violence. Why is that?
Just boredom, not having any structure, and of course the gang banging, the turf wars, things like that, because that's where most of it is coming from. You have, of course, the West Side, which is the best side. They say the best side. A lot happens up there.
South Side.
The South Side, the low end, 39th, 31st, those areas, Inglewood. A lot of those are poverty-stricken areas. So that's where a lot of it is coming from. That's where those people are coming from that's committing like all of these crimes. They're going, like downtown into some of the affluent neighborhoods, committing these crimes, just out of boredom, no structure. You're just not having anything to do in general.
Dr. Olaleye, so I'm sure in the summer, you probably see patients or you hear of patients coming through, children, adults. Dr. Soyemi, the same for you, and Dr. Fatoki as well. So what are they telling you about how they got involved or maybe how they got affected by the violence in Chicago?
Most of the time is the most stupid, useless thing. For example, I had a young man years ago. He was 18. He came to follow up on a gunshot wound to his head. But it was lucky where they hit him and that it just went through and through and no structural damage. And he just finished, while he was in high school, he got a job. And his mom helped him. His mom the parent has two of them, one boy, one girl. He's the oldest. So they helped him along with his job to buy a vehicle. He parked the vehicle in front of his store, a convenience store, and went in to buy something. Before he came back, some other teenager was sitting on the hood of his car. He got out and said, "Get off my car." I'm sure he didn't say it nicely, but the boy refused. He said, "Get off my car." The boy got off his car and said some curse word and shoot him, just for the fact that he said, "Get off my car." That was it. So there is nothing that they never knew each other from Adam. He wasn't in the gang. I don't know if the other boy was. Of course, he shot him and he left. The police were involved. And he still said, because when they came, his mom was there just sobbing because he was telling his mom, "I'm going to go after this kid. I'm going to go buy a gun and I'm going to go after this kid. I'm going to kill him." And his mom is begging me that to please help talk to him because he will not listen to the parents. And he wants to go and take revenge. And I said, instead of revenge, why didn't you just talk to the police? They said, "I ain't no rat," or something like that, that he wasn't going to talk. So he wouldn't talk to the police. He wouldn't snitch. So he said, however he wants to take matter into his own hand. And that's how I think things escalate.
Again, I agree it's the boredom, but for some reason, I mean, like even from our experience, just being out in that warm weather gives you some kind of euphoria. It makes you feel high. It gives you some kind of energy. Again, you've been indoors all winter long, and then you see sunshine, you see warm weather. You just want to be out there. If you don't have something that's structured, yes, that all that extra energy, you're going to channel it into getting into trouble. And, like we said, even I'm thinking back when I was a kid growing up in Ibadan, we had to have something to do during the summer. Otherwise, we get in trouble. When you have what you call that long vacation from June until September, most times my parents will make sure that we are going to either we are traveling together as a family, we do family things, or that we go to summer lessons to prepare for the next school year. But I remember without that, I mean, without that kind of structure, where they are throwing rocks and picking fights for absolutely no reason, So I think just not having that structure gets people in trouble.
Summer is like our active seasons, and where they're beginning to people are being arrested for, like Dr. Olaleye said, because of revenge. There's a lot of gang activity. The summer, like Dr. Fatoki said, the summer, the weather is nice. People are out. People are congregating in areas, and any little thing will spark a fight, and fights lead on to revenge, shooting revenge, and all that nice stuff. So, yeah, we are busy in the correctional settings right now.
What can we do about those without the opportunities that have just been described? People are going to school, they're going to summer camps, they're really traveling because they can afford to do that. What happens to those who really can't afford that and are left at home to fend for themselves?
I went to school in the low end. I went to Dunbar High School, and a lot of those children, they wore Jordans. So it's a priority thing. And nowadays the Jordans are at least $200, $250 that these parents are buying. And also for prom, I mean, they're renting horses, they're wearing Gucci. So it's all a priority. And I think the only thing really to kind of combat this is to educate people. That structure and like joining teams, sports teams, or it could be the band, is very important because it gives the child something to do.
Summer is a freedom for most violent people in Chicago or any other place that we have winter. And I'm saying that unique experience because I used to drive cab here in the 70s. There was a world of difference between summer and winter. So most of these people, they hibernated in the wintertime. So they get their freedom in the summertime. Money was not the issue. Priority is the issue. Peers is the issue. So the way you can help them out is to engage them and give them something solid they can concentrate on, like sports. That's the reason why you see boys and girls club, boxing, basketball. You must engage them. It's not the money. They have money. Most of them make money back then than those people that are working because they get government money. So money was not the issue.
I usually like to bring in a little personal experience. Of course, at UIC, doing my graduate studies, I was sent to the area of Cabrini Green. I didn't even know the area, I just had the address. Unfortunately for me, I've never been to the Cabrini Green building, so I didn't even know which one. So I parked my car in the lot and I tried to find the building, right? And so I walked maybe not even more than maybe a minute or two to about the door, and I saw two men waiting at the entrances. So I said, something told me not to go to them, right? So I said, excuse me, is this so and so address? Instead of saying yes, they nodded, both of them. I said, and where's the entryway? They said, like that. So I looked at the entryway and it was very dark. I said, oh gosh. So I figured, I pretended as if I was going back to my car to get something. Everybody, believe me when I said to you that honey, what was that came out of my car? The
Hubcaps.
Yes, it was gone. Did I say less than 5 minutes? Is that what? But then the most important part that I recall, that I finally found the school that I was supposed to go and do this work in. And so I was talking to the children. All of a sudden, we heard some noise. I've never heard that before. And all of them went under the table, under the chairs. So I'm still standing there thinking, okay. And they were saying to me, get down, get down. And I'm thinking, what's happening? That was the day, by the way, that this young little boy was killed walking to the same school that I was sent to do the work. So I left that day thinking, oh my gosh, these little kids, that's what they now know. They hear ta 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 ta, and boom. I mean, it was so fast. They were on the ground. So this is what they actually live with every summer. It was so heartbreaking. It was just unbelievable. But guess what? I thought, oh, okay, I'll still hang in there. But the university pulled me because it was too dangerous.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we now know that Chicago has the beauty of Chicago, and we have this pain of violence. What else, though, can we do? People are coming in from all over the world to see Chicago. I mean, all over the world. Because not just for the beauty, but for the communities that we have. So please, let us walk through the whole idea, the plan, to say to people, this is what you do when you come to Chicago, and this is what you must not do when you come to Chicago.
After med school, I had a lot of loans, and I did some of my loan repayment at the Robert Taylor Homes. So the one thing I'll say, like once they knew I was a healthcare worker, they didn't really bother us. I mean, I had my car broken into one time because even like some of the staff at the clinic where I worked, they lived there. One of the girls, her brother was the governor of the area at that time. That's what they called him in the home. So whenever there's going to be a gang war, they alerted us. We left home. I mean, we left work and went home. So I drive home, I'm watching TV, and I'm like, I just left there, with all these gunshots going on. So that's one thing I'll say. They did protect the health workers, even like the public health nurses that had to go into the homes. I didn't have to go. I just worked in the clinic. They protected them. So, but going back to your question, one of the things that you need to do is you have to know who you're dealing with. You have to know where you are. I mean, I've gone out of the country. I've been in bad neighborhoods that I didn't even know they were bad neighborhoods until I left there. Because when I travel, I try to avoid the tourist areas. I want the indigenous experience. I want the local food. I want to interact with the local people. And I've made mistakes and entered places I should never have been to. But God protects fools and innocent children.
Do your research before going to any city. I don't want to label. Don't go to the side, this side, or don't go to that side. Just be aware of your surroundings and speak to, if you're staying in an hotel, speak to the concierges and ask them, where can I go? Where are the safe places to go? One thing I'm going to recommend is that if you have minor children in your house, if the children are living under your house, you should be searching their rooms. That no kid should bring a weapon into your house. Yeah, so those are the kind of things you should be looking out for, because several cases that I've seen that whereby the parents didn't even know there was a gun in their house, okay, an AK-47 in their house. So you should, if a child is living under your household, just let them know, I'm going to be searching that room. So as soon as you walk out that door, or as soon as you come in there, I'm going to be searching that room as far as you're still under my roof. And a second thing is the video games. A lot of kids are so desensitized because they play all these violent video games that picking up a gun and shooting the next kid is honest. They're totally desensitized. They won't even think twice about it. So those would be my two key points. Search the room, do your research before you travel into a major city, and talk to like the indigenous folks and people. it all depends on how you come at people. People will say, oh, avoid that area. I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Just know your surroundings and I would stay in the tourist areas.
That's it for you. Stay in the tourist areas, right?
Well, how do you
That's
deal
advice for
with
someone
You'll be
else.
going into the hood.
how do you deal with the with the confrontation, or when you're walking down the street and as a woman, you see people are being aggressive, or when you feel like you're being watched. How do you do that? Because sometimes I'm working in some areas that in Chicago that I'm scared of, and then it's like I'm thinking, okay, I'm seeing this person, the way they look, I don't know what they're up to. How do you protect yourself in that kind of situation? I know you can't show weakness, but at the same time, you can't be aggressive either. So how do you handle those things? You're a
Dr.
native.
Fatoki, there are some steps when I happen to spend, like I said earlier, spend a lot of time in those areas growing up. I got to arrive in this country. I was about almost 20 years old, so I spent quite a few times on the streets of Chicago. There are some things you need to know. Number one is that you must make eye contact. That answers your question directly there. If you don't make eye contact, you are coming from the point of weakness. You must. And avoid walking at night. Don't walk at night. If you must walk at night, walk where you have plenty of light. Like Mrs. Fatoki said, you must be aware of your surroundings. The next ones are keep your valuable out of sight. Put them in your purse, put them on your neck, do something. The next one is that keep your phone charged and easily accessible if you need to use them. You must do that. The last one, which is very important, you must dress appropriately. You don't go to certain area that it's okay to go to anywhere. In Chicago, my wife will tell you I can go anywhere in Chicago because I know most places. But still, I will not wear a three-piece suit to some certain areas. So you must dress appropriately. But most importantly, though, for most people, you must make eye contact.
And I also know something about like gang colors too, and the way you wear your hat. Because I had a friend one time, like this was when he first came here, and I'm sure he'll recollect this if he sees this podcast. He was coming out of a gas station, and some guy approached him and said, you GD, and it's like he's looking at me, well, GD, what are you talking about? Like he's looking at him like, but what the guy was asking was, did he belong to the GD gang because of the way he had his hat? But fortunately for him, there was an American guy or lady there who told the guys, like, leave him alone. You can't you see he's an African? You don't know what you're talking about. So that's how it's later on when he was telling us the story. That's when it's like, dude, you almost got shot. But it's like, Eugenie is like, I don't know what you're talking about, but it's things like that. And I also know that there are certain colors you just have to be aware of where you go. So I know you're a native Chicago, and I keep coming back to you. There are gang colors, the way you wear your hat. So those are things people need to be aware of, right?
Yeah, that is true.
It is.
And just keep your head on a swivel. I personally keep my head on a swivel. I lived in New Orleans for 10 years also, and I used to get off work at midnight, and I never wore my purse. It was never visible. I actually seen a lady get her purse snatched walking down Canal Street in New Orleans. And I mean, you just have to protect yourself. You have to be safe, be smart about it. And I mean, I have a game face for Chicago. My game face is crazy.
What's your game face?
It's just like, don't mess with me. It's just no smiling, no. It's like, listen, I'm business. Don't mess with me.
That's true.
That's what it is.
We have to hold it. But let's bring this back to the beauty of Chicago and the hope that we have for Chicago.
To get the crime under control, and allow visitors to come and not have to worry, because Chicago is it's a very fun city. It's just enjoyable. I have a lot of things going on. for all different age ranges. And like, no one should have to come here and just feel unsafe. There are a lot of people who want to come here and say, oh, Chicago is unsafe, it's unsafe. Yes, every place have its unsafe parts, but some of the parts here in Chicago that's normally labeled as safe are crimes are happening in those areas as well. So we do need to try to get these children into programs to give them something to do so they're not terrorizing, Chicago.
Yeah, that it's safe. That's pretty much it. Yeah, but every country, every city, every town all over the world has unsafe areas. So, and that's never going to change for as long as there are human beings. So I think everybody should just know how to protect themselves wherever they are, to see what is unique to that neighborhood, that area, and to see how they can blend in, so, and not stick out.
There we have it. We have two sides of Chicago, the wonderful, beautiful, and hopeful part of Chicago. And we also have the not so wonderful part of Chicago. But all in all, though, we all have been here for more than at least 2 decades. And so we know that Chicago is a brilliant city, it's a beautiful city, it's a vibrant city, and we dance all summer long, right? So come to Chicago and enjoy the beauty and the festivities and the food in Chicago. Thank you so much for joining me.
Before we wrap up today's episode of Healthy Mind, Better Future, I just want to take a quick moment to say thank you for tuning in. If you found this conversation helpful or inspiring, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you know someone who could benefit from today's topic, please share this video with them. It might be just what they need. We'd also love to hear from you. Drop a comment below to let us know what you thought of today's episode, or tell us what topics you'd like us to cover in the future. This space is for you, and your voice helps shape what we do next.